Of Laney's. Do you need your sewer line unplugged? Or maybe you need your sewer line totally replaced? If so, you need to consider Laney's for all of your sewer needs. Our technicians are courteous, clean, and professional, and you can trust that they will get it done right the first time. So for peace of mind, call us today at 237-0543 or visit us on the web at laneysinc.com.
828 is just great.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this Monday afternoon. 106 in the afternoon. Temperatures outside in the mid-teens across much of the valley. A little colder north and upper teens to near 20 in the far southern valley. There is some light snow pushing into the far southern valley. We do have winter weather advisories in effect from Alexandria. And draw a line generally from Alexandria through Sisseton and point southward. If you're traveling south on 29, those turn into winter storm warnings once you get towards the Sioux Falls area.
Oh, it's before that, and you and I both know why. Summit, South Dakota,
well,
the
that's
Bermuda Triangle of the region.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, we'll see a few flurries or light snow showers here in the FM area, but we're looking at most of the accumulating snow down to our south. Tonight, boy, I'll tell you, that whole I-80 corridor is going to take a pounding all the way through Nebraska, Iowa, into northern Illinois. They're going to get hit pretty hard. So I know we've got a lot of trucker friends out there that listen. So if you're going to be down that way, you might want to hunker down. This is a pretty big storm for the Central Plains.
And for those folks, a couple of reasons why. One, they also have not had a huge amount of moisture as of right now.
It's good.
So is
them.
this
a heavy wet snow?
I was
too.
just going to say, how heavy and wet is this? How helpful will that be?
Mm-hmm.
Probably pretty helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Because you think about, we've talked to some growers like in Kansas and so forth, and I realize that south of I-80, they have had severe drought for 2 and 3 years.
Right.
They would very much take as much moisture as they could.
Yeah, and this is it's not just one storm. There's a whole parade of these storms, and then we're going to see a little clipper system coming in here, and behind that, we've got some Arctic, coldest air of the season heading our way. 30 to 40 below wind chills this weekend.
Oh, that's going to be brisk.
Man.
And guys, do you know why?
Wait for it.
Do you know why things could be worse?
Are you traveling?
No, I'm not going that far south.
Could be traveling. That's why.
I could be. It's not going to be me this time.
Somebody else is traveling?
Who knows? But it's going down down there, and I'm not there. So I'm feeling pretty lucky, you guys. Maybe my travel calendar is not as hexed as it has been in the past.
There you go.
We'll try.
Good deal. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us this afternoon. For me, myself, for Bridgette and Justin Storm, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And let's run down a quick look at the forecast here, because we do have much colder weather heading our way. A lot of clouds around this afternoon. Again, some light snow showers pushing in from the south, but accumulating snow here in the FM area, nothing trace amounts. But the further south you go, could pick up an inch or so from, let's say, Alexandria, maybe as far north as Fergus and over towards Sisseton. Highs today in the upper teens to around 20. Those snow showers end tonight with lows in the single digits. Light winds out of the northwest. Light winds tomorrow. A little more sunshine. Highs in the upper teens. And then a clipper system brings us a little light snow Wednesday. About an inch. Some spots may pick up 2, but I think a general inch is pretty good with the warmest day of the week, Wednesday. Low to mid-20s. And then single digits on Thursday, Friday. Might see another little burst of snow on an Arctic front Friday. And then bitter cold weather over the weekend. It's our first real stretch of below normal weather that we've had so far this winter. Highs over the weekend, either side of 0, above or below, and then wind chills, as I said, over the weekend. Well, some pretty strong winds. Wind chills 30 to 40 below 0.
Happy ice fishing.
If you've got any friends visiting from out of town,
Tell them to wear a coat.
Tell them to, not only a coat, but tell them, yeah, that plug-in, you see, the truck's plugged in. Yeah, those are all electrical vehicles we're using up here.
Look, you moved here from Nebraska. Now you think you're a genius? Quit that. Come on now.
You're going to probably need those this weekend.
Lost.
Oh, Justin. Justin's like, I'm super tired. And you two are not helping right now. Right?
What are you guys talking about?
We are talking about the fact that you have been hoping for more snow. You're not going to get it. But again,
No.
Not a lot.
put on a jacket, pal. It's going to be chilly out there.
But
I'm moving. I'd rather have the snow than cold.
I would too.
I'm going south.
Yeah,
Right.
going south where the
I'm
snow
going
is.
to Sioux Falls.
But I'll tell you, even if we get an inch or two of snow, you factor in 30 plus mile an hour winds, that could pose some slippery travel as we head into the weekend.
Well, it really could.
Whipping.
Yeah. And so that means that once again, Justin and I will be restricted to house arrest, not able to go anywhere.
I know Justin won't. There's no way he's getting out in his vehicle in that weather.
Hey, he and I talked on Friday. It was not that pleasant. So I also managed to stay where I was at and not
Nice.
cause any problems.
That's a first. Good for you.
Easy over there.
That was the ice. That was Friday morning ice, wasn't it?
It
last
was.
week?
It was, yes.
I remember that. Dean, you were sick, so you weren't out on the road.
I
but
was,
it was
dude.
nasty.
I was literally in bed for 20 of the 24 hours. It was, yeah. I had no idea what was going on outside.
Oh man, it was gross out there.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So, which leads to one of the things that we can talk about today, and the fact that we get to do our jobs because of the internet. But if you look at rural areas across the country, that isn't always the case, because there's something called the middle mile effect. And I didn't know about this until recently. If you are an internet service provider and you lay a mile of cable for broadband, it connects hundreds, maybe thousands of people in a highly populated area. But we get out into the rural segments of the country, and maybe that mile only connects a handful of folks. So cost effectiveness changes. And so those internet providers are not necessarily bringing out the fastest speeds and connectivity for those who need it most. And when I say need it most, it's not just about being able to do your job or school using the internet, but also when it comes to farming equipment, a lot of it relies on an internet connection for GPS and other services. Even in today's world, if you buy a new piece of equipment, even your microwave for your house comes with an owner's manual that has to be downloaded. It doesn't actually come with a paper manual in some cases. And if you don't have good connectivity, you're not able to make some of those things work. In the world of pesticide use, you have to have current labels available to you. And one of the ways to do that is to download them off the internet, unless you have unreliable phone service. One of the other reasons that this is all being compounded is the fact that prior to 2005, there was a common carrier rule that could be used, or common carriage rule that could be used across telecommunications. That went away in 2005. So now internet providers don't help each other. If you're a competitor, you're not using your equipment for somebody else, which means there's less capability happening as well. So rural broadband internet is hoping to get a boost from the Farm Bill coming up later this year, to the effect that they would finally be able to see carriers being pushed to do more, and even so much as reporting who has service and who doesn't, because there's a fair amount of inaccuracies right now. Closest bet that the government has is 1 out of 5 households in rural America do not have reliable internet service.
So speaking of the Farm Bill, we going anywhere on that?
There's work being done. It's going to be slow. Justin laughs.
Yeah.
He's like, that's my standard answer. Work being done. I think if you talk to folks within Farm Bureau, Farmers Union, and other commodity groups, they have not let their foot off the gas in talking to Congress in order to try to make something happen as quickly as possible.
This was supposed to be done in October, right?
It was supposed to be done October 1st. The chances are getting it done in Q3 of 2024 is the hope right now. Cover?
Push it back another year.
No,
Man.
I don't think
Yeah,
we need to
push
go
it
quite
back.
that far. No. Remember, Remember, 80% of the Farm Bill is tied to food and nutrition, both for schools, SNAP benefits, and so forth. So it's not just about the farm economy. It's what we're seeing across the entire country.
Right.
Makes a difference.
Let's get it done.
Sure does.
Anytime government is involved, something seems to drag. Oh, it's called feet. That's
It
right.
can.
Yeah,
It
there
can.
you go.
And, earlier before we got on air, Dean and I were talking about some situations, global climate change, et cetera, what people think of that. So here's something for you. Chipotle, the joint where you go get your
Love it.
burrito. Okay. So Chipotle is making some new investments. They want to invest in something called Greenfield Robotics, which is a autonomous robot that does its weeding between the rows on broadacre crops. So it's running 24/7, eliminates the need for labor because it's considered regenerative agriculture because they're reduced pesticides, et cetera. And so that's something that they feel will help their business model, because people want the experience of having this fresh food that comes from a regenerative system. They're also going to invest in something called Nutricity, which is a new age fertilizer. This ought to be fun. It's inspired by the natural occurrence of lightning, breaking down nitrogen in the air, and rainwater, bringing it to the soil as a nitrate to create a natural fertilizer. And that is, again, nitricity, which is one of the items that Chipotle is looking at making investments in.
Okay,
Right
so
on.
they're going to they're capturing the current from electricity. They're going to try and capture this, and
They are hoping to use what they're saying. Nitricity has pioneered the practice of creating artificial lighting. They're going to leverage air, water, and renewable energy to produce a cleaner, more sustainable fertilizer because they believe that current methods, which basically use the Haber-Bosch system, which was developed prior to World War II, they believe that requires too many fossil fuels and emits too much greenhouse gas.
send me that article, would you?
Will do. Are you looking to be an investor, Dean?
Well, I mean, hey, always looking for something that's going to make some money for the future, right?
You're hoping for a free lunch?
I
at
kind of,
Chipotle?
well, I don't know. I like the idea.
Okay.
I like it.
Well, you're a weather guy. Lightning. Right
Right.
up your alley.
Yep.
Okay.
They're going
got
to
it.
need a couple of meteorologists.
I will
Little side hustle there, Storm.
dust up your resume, pal. You never
Main
know.
hustle.
May-
Just a little something extra that you do.
Oh, man.
All right.
Well, let's see what else we got coming up on the show. We have our guest that's going to be joining us in a few moments.
Yes.
Before we introduce who that is, if you ever want to join in on the program today or any day forward, you can give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000. Emails to our program are weather or ag at flagfamily.com, as well as our comment boxes on Facebook and YouTube Live. One more ag topic we'll get to by the end of the day, and that's talking about farmers deciding to sell or carry grain. We'll hit that in our 150s segment. But coming up in our next segment, that's going to be Greg Dahl, President-elect of the Weed Science Society of America. Is that correct, Bridgette?
It
And
is.
what Greg will be talking to us about?
Well, Greg's got a long and illustrious career in the pesticide world here in the Dakotas, Minnesota. He's joining us in studio today. He brought great pictures to share and show the things that he's done in the past. And then we're also going to talk about what is the Weed Science Society of America. And Justin, not that weed, okay?
yeah, wrong week.
Wrong weed. We're going to talk about things more like water hemp, kochia, that type of thing, okay?
Very interesting. Cool.
So we will do that when we return. So do not go anywhere. You're going to want to stick around for our visit with Greg Dahl, President-elect of the Weed Science Society of America.
Livestock market is mostly higher. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Risfet with this market update. Live cattle futures were mixed this morning. However, they have turned solidly positive here at midday. There is an overall lack of aggressive direction in the futures market, and it's not that surprising despite firmer gains holding in feeder cattle futures. Traders in the live cattle complex continue to be still searching for longer-term answers surrounding consistent support and cash values, as well as the ability to steadily move beef values higher. Nearby live cattle futures remain well-rooted above support levels, which may limit additional active market growth, with a lot of questions and uncertainty surrounding the long-term production levels over the next 6 months, as well as beef demand growth during 2024. Cash cattle activity remains at a standstill with show list distribution and inventory taking seen in all areas. Winter storms are moving through much of the northern cattle country over the next couple of days, which could limit overall movement from feedlots, but feeders still are focusing on the potential for steady to higher cash cattle trade by the end of the week. Box beef prices are mixed, choice up 118 and select down 10 cents with a movement of 55 loads. Lean hog futures have also posted moderate to firm gains in nearby contract months, although deferred futures have become a bit more hesitant to move in a positive direction. Nearby contracts are willing to extend last week's gains and the opportunity for position taking in the last half of 2024, while overall pork demand certainly continues, is allowing for the mixed movement in price levels. We'll get a look at the livestock numbers next. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
North Dakota Farmers Union.
Want to earn more for conservation on your farm or ranch? Attend the Evolution Ag Summit in Jamestown on February 20th. You'll hear from industry leaders about carbon credits, premiums for low-carbon commodities, renewable fuels demand, and more. Cost is just $30 to attend. Go to ndfu.org to register for the Evolution Ag Summit. That's ndfu.org.
Farmers Union.
Want to earn more for conservation on your farm or ranch? Attend the Evolution Ag Summit in Jamestown on February 20th. You'll hear from industry leaders about carbon credits, premiums for low carbon commodities, renewable fuels demand, and more. Cost is just $30 to attend. Go to ndfu.org to register for the Evolution Ag Summit. That's ndfu.org.
Let's get a look at the livestock numbers. Live cattle February up 20 at 170.77, April up 25 at 173.65, June up 47 at 171.02, and the August live cattle they're up 22 at 171.50. Feeders January up 157 at 224.70, March up 170 at 225.85. Lean hogs February up 55 at 70.55, April up 112 at 77.50, and the May lean hogs they're up 77 at 83.92. For the American Ag Network, I'm Richard Ristvet.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Oh my God!
Oh, and the Screaming Goat is back, and so are all three of us. Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Bridgette here along with Dean and Justin. It's kind of like the video games where you're back to full strength, like all the battery is full again. We're all three here.
Someone gave him a revive and a potion. I don't think the three of us have been together before.
It's been a while.
Was it before Christmas?
Well, because there's vacations, there's sick leave, there's all sorts of stuff. So are you saying that's it? We're done? That's the end of it? Oh, goodness. But it is not the end of it because we have our guest in studio with us today. That is Greg Dahl. He is president-elect of the Weed Science Society of America. But more importantly, Greg has a long career in ag chem. And when I say ag chem, I mean that as herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, et cetera. And we have lots to talk about. And Greg, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for this opportunity. I'm excited to visit with you guys.
Oh, this will be fun. And we have been waiting for you to come in. I mean, Greg and I have emailed several times. We have a plan. So this will be good fun. Where would you like to start, Greg? How did you get from where you began in the industry to being president-elect?
So I'm a local boy. I'm a local boy. I come from Felton, Minnesota, and grew up on a potato and small grain farm there. And my whole family is from Norman County and Clay County. So local boy, not enough farm for all the boys. So I've been pretending to be farmer my whole life. And some things about me, I've been spraying 2,4-D for over 50 years now.
And you're still alive to talk about it. Look at that.
I am. And I've been doing weed control for forever. I wanted to be a veterinarian, and I'm so thankful I'm not a veterinarian. I ended up
that would be a fun career though too.
Not
as fun, right?
No,
Okay. All right.
no. I've been blessed. I went to NDSU. I got 2 degrees, one in agronomy and one in agronomy with weed science as my background. Had wonderful teachers there, wonderful mentors there, and just have had a wonderful career all the way through. I worked for several companies that you would know, Central, American Cyanamid, some of you may remember. And then I worked for the NDSU Extension Service for about 10 years. And then I went to work for Senex Land O'Lakes Agronomy Company, which became Winfield United. And I just retired from them December 31st. So I'm practicing retirement.
And are you getting good at it yet?
Nah, I'm not.
You'll be bored, I'm sure, right? Oh, man.
Well, I don't know. We've got this meeting coming up, and it took 10 days of my life just putting the program together. So
Okay, so speaking of that meeting, that would be the upcoming Weed Science Society of America meeting. Okay, and as I had to say to Justin before, it's not the puff, puff, pass.
Right.
This is cocklebur, nightshade in the field. What does this society do?
So first off, I would throw it back to you, which is we've been working on weed control now for, I've been working for over 50 years. We've got people that have been working for several hundred years on it. And are we winning?
Well, yes and no. There are some that we have improved on. But if I think about today's world of kochia and water hemp, it's not so easy out there.
My story right now is the chemicals, the herbicides did a really good job of controlling the tillage-resistant weeds.
There you go.
And now we have a problem because we have some herbicide-resistant weeds. Mm-hmm. And so we really need to find new technologies. whether we've got precision cultivation, whether we've got the lasers, the weed zappers, things like that, and things we haven't even thought of. And we're trying to figure those things out. So there's plenty to do.
And you're talking about things that we visit about here all the time. Like Justin, one of his favorite things is the propane-fired weed burner.
Yep.
So, yeah, those are good things for us to be looking at.
Right.
Go ahead.
And Greg, so we were talking briefly before we got on air here. I was recently down visiting some friends in the Twin Cities for New Year's Eve, and was talking with a couple of people, and well, they started going off on a tangent first on chemtrails and how they're confident that we're getting, that's a whole story for another day. But then they also got on the subject when they found out I worked with agriculture, and we had this show, and he said, well, tell me this. He said, it's well known that all the chemicals we're spraying on all the farm products that's caused a rise in cancer over the last 20 to 30 years. I said, do you understand how much of that you would have to consume for that to even be a problem? No, that's not the case. How do you dispel that myth?
It's a complicated issue. It takes a long time, but one of the things is people are correct to be concerned about their food. Now, a lot of them believe that their food was always pure and pristine and healthy and whatnot, and that's kind of crap.
Right.
I mean, it was what it was. And the added risk for these pesticides, stuff like that, we call de minimis, which means that it's essentially zero. We can't prove that it's zero and stuff like that, but it's essentially zero. And so you really need to spend a lot of time talking about food and stuff like that. One of the big problems with that we deal with is that we have what we call a diminishing zero. And it used to be when I first started, we couldn't find anything at levels greater than 1 part per 1,000. So a part per 1,000 we could actually find. Mm-hmm. And an example of that, we would put atrazine on fields, and then you couldn't measure the atrazine. It wasn't, you couldn't detect that it was there, but you would kill wheat 2 years later. And so we just couldn't measure it. And now we've got things where we can measure parts per billion, maybe parts per trillion, and we don't even know what it means. And your body really does have very good defense mechanisms. So you shed skin when you get a sunburn, which will cause cancer.
Yep.
You lose those cells and you defend against it. Same thing's going on in your gastrointestinal tract. You lose a lot of cells and stuff like that. So your body does have some pretty good mechanisms for defending itself.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's okay to be afraid about food, but I would be more afraid about some of the biological things, like the food poisoning, things like that. And so I know that you and Ag are aware of this, that a lot of times when people get sick and whatnot, it's from food poisoning. Somebody got manure on organic spinach, lettuce, whatever.
That makes sense. And no, this might be why I was sick this weekend. I didn't wash those mushrooms again.
We've had this talk with Dean about having to wash things. Mm-hmm. Because he was very surprised to learn that mushrooms don't just grow in soil.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Justin and I found that pretty entertaining, actually. So
It was amusing.
we've taught Dean a lot of things since this show started.
It's all about learning. It is.
And Greg has learned a lot in his years because, like he said, he's spent time at NDSU with in the industry with American Cyanomed, with Central Crop Consultants, and then the progression of things that became Winfields United. And when we come back, I want to make sure to show his progression, because when he retired, his coworkers gave him a fantastic photo
picture,
of this.
isn't it? That
so
is
I'm going to hold that up for the camera to get a look at it, and then we want to continue to talk with Greg about some of the things that he's done and learned over those 50 years in the industry. So we'll be right back.
Okay.
West Funeral Home in your difficult time.
Have you planned for all your life's events? At West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center, we would be honored to have that talk of a lifetime with you. Through pre-planning, we will help honor and celebrate your journey on Earth so you can leave your family a lasting, treasured memory. Discover the difference.
West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center. Little things make the difference.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. A Fargo woman who slapped her 2-month-old child and sent a video of the abuse to the child's father has been spared jail time. Stacy Bellecourt was arrested last July. The baby's father says Bellecourt slapped the child because Bellecourt was mad that the father was spending time with other women. Bellecourt has pleaded guilty to child neglect, possessing marijuana, and simple assault. Bellecourt was sentenced to 3 years of supervised probation. She was also ordered to undergo mental health treatment and a chemical dependency evaluation. The West Fargo Fire Department is offering free at-home COVID-19 tests for anyone who needs them. The department says they have plenty of at-home antigen tests ready for pickup at their headquarters. And North Dakota Insurance Commissioner John Gottfried says he has served as an advocate for consumers since being elected in 2016. He says he wants to serve 4 more years.
With the adaptation of technology, the implementation of artificial intelligence, I think the way we buy insurance, the way we interact with our insurance is going to change dramatically in the near future. And I'll tell you, it's been a lot of fun to kind of be on the ground floor of that.
The Republican says under his guidance, the insurance department has seen a significant enhancement in consumer assistance services. Tom Tucker, WDAY and WDAYRadioNow.com.
Creative Planning presents Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson, Sunday at 6 a.m. At Creative Planning, we custom tailor your portfolio to help you achieve your ideal financial future. You'll see how our wealth managers work with in-house CPAs and attorneys to ensure your money is working as hard as it can for you. Your wealth deserves a second look. Visit creativeplanning.com. That's creativeplanning.com.
Are you suffering from neuropathy? Do you experience stabbing pain, numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet? Are you tired of sleepless nights and avoiding life due to pain? If you've been diagnosed with neuropathy or are experiencing pain or numbness in your feet, pick up the phone and call us right now before it's too late at 701-929-7545. Again, that's 701-929-7545. Neuropathy is a very serious and progressive disease where your nerves start to break down. Eventually, it leads to balance problems, falls, complete loss of independence, and it can lead to amputation. Our program addresses the underlying causes and doesn't simply mask your symptoms with medication. In fact, many patients start experiencing relief from neuropathy symptoms within weeks. There's no surgery and no use of prescription drugs. Pick up the phone right now and call 701-929-7545. Call us today at Dakota Clinic of Chiropractic at 701-929-7545 today.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And thank you for joining us here on Weather and Ag in Focus. Don't forget that if you have questions and you want to visit with us, you are welcome to do so. The Red Wing Shoes phone line is open at 701-293-9000. So we have in studio with Dean and I, and Justin's on the line, but we've got Greg Dahl with us. And Greg is the president-elect of the Weed Science Society of America. Greg is a well-known name in this region to a lot of our farmers and folks who work in the industry. And on the break, you showed me a T-shirt for a National Weed Science Contest. Tell me more.
So once every 4 years, the Weed Science Society of America holds a contest for students. One of the things the WSSA and all of the regional societies, they're trying to train students to become weed science experts and stuff like that. And so these contests are really wonderful. We train people in weed identification, unknown herbicides, sprayer calibration, things like that, and then farmer problems. And I love these contests. I've been going to, probably a dozen of them or more over the years. And I actually got my start in 1982 when the team I was on actually won the contest for North Central. But I usually get to be the angry farmer or the farmer that's a real problem. And as such, it's a lot of fun. And so I'm out there, here's my problem and you caused it, and I want either a credit on my bill or I want you to give me some free product or something like that. And if you give me free product, you're not going to win.
So, these contests they're real life situations. And in a lot of ways, they're like being farming CSI, right? Because you don't know what happened when you get to the crime scene or the field. And you got to figure out what happened here.
Yep. And we give you 12 minutes to do it.
Oh, that's that's pretty immediate problem solving.
Yeah. And you've got to give us a solution for this year and a solution for next year.
Ooh, the pressure's on.
Yep.
And Bridgette, you've got to hold up this picture with Greg.
Okay. Yep.
This is so if you're watching us online, now who made this, Greg?
So I don't know who made it, but the people I work with commissioned it and presented it to me at my retirement party.
The Wizard of Weeds. That's great. Other way, Bridgette. There you go.
Yeah, more that way. And then more to your left as well.
The
pointed towards Jacob.
Yeah. The Wizard of Weeds came from. They needed someone to talk to national communication people like Successful Farming, things like that. And there was a series of them, and they said, well, there's a guy over at the Innovation Center that is some kind of weed wizard, and they found me. So it's good. It's nice to be recognized.
And recognized well, because there's jugs across the bottom, and they show a number of products. So have you had a hand in launching all of those products for Winfield United?
So it goes beyond Winfield United, but the answer is yes. So in my career, I've done research on over 100 products that have made it to the market, and
Wow.
One of the things I brag about is that I have products that are being sold in at least 7 countries on at least 4 continents.
Do you have patents?
I have a dozen patents in the
That's
U.S.
awesome.
and I have some worldwide patents. So.
Wow. So over those 50 years there, Greg, what's changed the most when it comes to weed control?
So it's gotten a lot harder to do. I think when I first started, you could probably put a product on the market in 5 years, and it probably costs $30-40 million to put it on the market. Now it takes
I've got that answer. Now it is 10 years and roughly $300 million to boot before you get to drop one of that product. And that's going through effective testing at a pesticide registration.
And that is the numbers I was going to say.
Oh,
so
good.
You're right on the money.
I'm so glad I was right. The weed wizard gave me the okay.
Why so much longer now than it was?
There's so much more testing that they have to do, and there's just so much more testing that they have to do. And then one of the really bad things about that is because those scales are there, so many of the bean counters say, and not worth it, not worth it. So we're losing a lot of products because they can't justify it. So
justify the cost to bring them forward.
Yep.
Right.
And
Wow.
I mean, I think that's a huge question is, but when I started in the late 90s, the volume of companies and products available in the industry has really funneled down.
Yeah. They've survived by consolidating, and I'm not sure that was a good thing, because when you take 2 companies and consolidate them, you've got 1 + 1. And when they consolidate, it might end up being 1 + 1 is 1.2.
Oh, sure.
And so it's been a tough thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because even on your picture right here, you show cyanamide, which when I started was American cyanamide. Technically, they don't exist today.
They're part of BASF.
Yep, and some of their products still do.
Yep.
Which is a big change because, as Dean asked, how long does it, or Justin did, what's changed? How long does it take to get products to registration? There are a lot of things that aren't registered anymore that we just simply don't use. And it used to be kind of easy. I mean, do you remember Elf Autochem selling a product called Herbicide 273?
I do.
That was just its name. It's Herbicide 273.
I do. Yeah, I miss some of the history and stuff like that. And one of the things I'm proudest about, when I was at NDSU, we got Project Safe Send in.
Yes.
Which is a way to get rid of waste pesticides. And back when we were doing this, I think we got the first one in 92, but that program, but nobody could get rid of anything. And so the Department of Ag was wonderful. They said, we will be the generator of the waste.
Yes.
And the legislator put together this program and whatnot, and we worked very hard to get this thing up and going. And then we ran it through the Department of Ag for all those years. But some of the neat stuff we had go through there. The biggest user of the first program was the NDSU Extension Service, because these county agents were so wonderful. People wanted to throw stuff away, and they put it in a shed or a granary or barn or whatever, and kept going. The next program, the main campus of NDSU is the biggest user, because they're cleaning out all their crap that was in there,
all the old stuff.
And then the third program, the biggest user was the branch experiment stations of NDSU, but we got rid of all of this product, and I think it's like 6 million pounds of product have gone. Yeah. And I was there at the beginning of that. That's one of the biggest things that I was able to be part of.
It does still go today. Month of July, we have it's literally a pesticide recycling program, and those things can be gotten rid of pretty effectively. Greg, you brought some other things with today that I would love for you to share with people what they are.
So I have this tie, which is I have a lot of things they call Dahl-isms, and they're things I say like it'll be okay, which means that it'll be okay. I always
it's
talk
not going to
about
be great, but it'll be okay.
Yeah.
It won't be okay.
Yeah. In ancient history land, which I say that all the time. And then I have some that really fit for agriculture. One that I have is plants don't drink rocks.
That is true.
And when you are working with bad water, a lot of things will try to become crystals, try to become rocks, and they can't get in the plant. And then in North Dakota, we have really low relative humidity, high temperatures, things like that. And evaporation is a real problem. If things evaporate enough, they turn into a crystal and they don't get in the plant. Right. And so we need to do that. And so, things like that. And then I have this thing here from the meeting, which I'm going to give to you. I'm going to deputize you. We don't want any weed enablers. We have way too many weed enablers. So I'm going to deputize you to control weeds. This is a token we're giving to everybody that's coming to our meeting
awesome.
in January. We're meeting in San Antonio, Texas, and it's a meeting of WSSA along with the Southern Weed Society of Southern Weed Science Society, and we're going to have about 700 people show up.
As long as the boss is listening, I have to go to San Antonio. I know I'm deputized. I gotta go. This looks awesome.
We'll show you a good time.
Yes, I think we would. But keep weeds away is essentially the bottom line, right?
Yeah. And that's something. One of my old bosses always said, "Bet on the pest, because the pest will figure out and destroy whatever you're doing against them." And it's an opportunity. Yeah. So, and we need new smart people to come in and help us out, because the weeds are going to figure out ways to beat us up, and we can fight against them, and we need to stay ahead of them.
And Greg, and we touched on this earlier, how long it takes new product to get to market, and it's so expensive that some are just saying it's not worth it. How do we change that in the next 10 to 20 years?
We have to use everything. We talk about integrated pest management, stuff like that. We're not real good at using all of the tools that are available to us. We go to the herbicides right away because they're easy and they work relatively well until they don't. But we need to go to other things, like sometimes switching up the time of planting, crop rotations, things like that. A lot of guys are playing with cover crops now. All those things are good. One of the things I don't think we do enough of is using herbicides in the fall for the next spring, because a lot of times we could put things on in October and we could actually still get pretty good weed control out into June. Mm-hmm. And it sets you up. You're starting with a clean field in June, and then you can do your weed control program that way. Another thing that I'm really adamant about is talking to the farmers and the bankers both, because we need to stop thinking about doing weed control for 1 year at a time. We need to start thinking about, because you didn't get that problem in 1 year. Right. We need to start thinking about 3, 4, 5, 6 year weed control programs, and they're going to be expensive. They're going to cost you a couple $100, maybe $300 for that weed control program. But you got to get ahead of your weed problem, and we need to stop thinking about doing it 1 year at a time, because if we do it 1 year at a time, we're losing ground.
And it impacts yield.
Yeah, it does.
That's the bottom line for the banker.
Yeah.
So, Greg, in the last moments that we've got with the Weed Science Society of America, et cetera, how would you want people to get in contact with you about the society, or as you practice retirement, what are things that you want people to know?
So for getting a hold of the society, they have a website. You just type in Weed Science Society of America, and it'll take you right there. The meeting's still there. You can still sign up, register for it. But and then I would put in this plug that your weed scientists that are at North Dakota State University, whether they're in Fargo or whether they're across the state, they're all members, and so they're hooked in real well. One of the things we talked about was that I am going to be the next president of the society, but I'm the 7th one. So I've got Dr. John Nelawayo is the first one.
He was NDSU.
Yep. Well, these all have association with NDSU.
Yep.
Larry Middich was the extension weed specialist for NDSU. Cal Messersmith, Charlotte Eberline, Rod Lim, Dallas Peterson, and then myself.
It's a pretty illustrious group.
It's a real wonderful group. They're all wonderful people. They've all put things into my life. I'm trying to put things into the new people coming after us, and we've got wonderful people at NDSU.
If there was anybody more motivated to kill a weed, I've never met them besides Greg Dahl.
Awesome.
He's all set. Greg, thank you for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you, your lesson, your Rumagrat at the Agronomy on Ice on February 7th.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
This has been great fun. We will be right back, folks. Got to check the weather. Don't go anywhere.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
The color of the year for next year.
Yes.
Peach fuzz. My son had peach fuzz until he was probably 20. Peach fuzz. That's the color of the year.
You're smart.
Is it the exact color we're thinking of? You know how many different shades and tones of everything they have nowadays? It's ridiculous.
But we all know what peach fuzz is, right?
Yeah, okay.
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
Your day starts early and finishes late, and while most people wouldn't understand, working with your brain and your hands is all you've ever known, and you've done pretty well for yourself. I'm John Annis with North Star Financial, and we're proud to work with people who find success outside the typical desk chair setting. So whether your office is the farm, the shop, or the truck, we'd love to hear your story and to help you write the next chapter. We're North Star Financial, the financial advisor for the rest of us.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Attention drivers, are you tired of that annoying chip in your windshield? Trust Glass Doctor Auto to make it crystal clear again. Hi, Reed here. Did you know that when you replace your windshield with Glass Doctor, our expert technicians will calibrate your lane departure warning system sensors right here in our shop? That's right, at Glass Doctor Auto we go the extra mile to keep you driving confidently, ensuring your safety on the road. Make your appointment now by visiting glassdoctor.com. That's glassdoctor.com.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint.
West Funeral Home in your difficult time.
Have you planned for all your life's events? At West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center, we would be honored to have that talk of a lifetime with you. Through pre-planning, we will help honor and celebrate your journey on Earth so you can leave your family a lasting, treasured memory. Discover the difference.
West Funeral Home and Life Tribute Center. Little things make the difference.
Nothing slows my little girl down, except a stuffy nose.
Mommy.
That's why I use Sinex Children's Saline from Vicks. Sinex instantly clears mucus in everyday stuffy little noses with a gentle, ultra-fine mist designed for kids. Just Sinex? Breathe. Her stuffy nose is gone for now. And so is she.
Sinex Children's Saline. Sinex, breathe. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin Ultra Soft on the party, less is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. The crib is always stocked. It's our party vibe. So our chicks feel fine. So everybody wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
No screaming frog? Somewhere in there, he's hiding.
That's not screaming. It's like he's riding in the car window like the pig on the Geico commercial with the little windmill thing spinning along.
Whatever happened to that? That was the best commercial.
It's awesome, and I'm not going to tell. I would not deny the fact that I have done that, a month ago.
Oh, well. Well, welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. It's 1:52. We still got to check on the forecast, another ag topic to get to. If you want to join in on the conversation, emails to the program, weather or ag at flagfamily.com, as well as our live comment boxes and the Red Wing Shoes phone line. Give us a call, 701-293-9000. And we had a comment on our YouTube streams from our guest with Greg Dahl. Dirk had said, thinking about weed control for several years rather than 1 year is great. Never did that when I lived on a farm, but would have made great sense to practice multi-year weed control instead of seasonal or yearly.
Should save money too.
Well, in the long term it can, because you're exactly right bringing that comment up, Justin. When you're doing multi-year like that, it takes time depending on the weed that is your problem. I think back to Canada thistle. Okay, so the way Canada thistle works, it has a long underground root and it sends up many plants from that root system. So if you spray one plant, that doesn't mean that if you just used a burn-off product instead of something that translocates into the root system, then the root system is going to continue to send plants up in other areas. So it's a multi-year project to try to control something like Canada thistle. And if you're only planning for, I'm going to spend all my money one time and that'll fix it all, that likely won't work in many cases. So it is a conversation, though, as far as financially, because it's not cheap to raise a crop anymore. I have lots of soybean growers that will tell you their weed control is $80 to $90 an acre to control weeds like water, hemp, and kochia.
It gets expensive.
It gets expensive real fast. Yeah.
Sure
and
does.
we're
Especially if you got like 1,000 acres.
Well, and we're factoring that all in, because if we continue, I think we are going to continue our Here We Grow project for 2024. What are we going to raise, you guys? And what do we have to factor in for fertility, weed control, seed costs, etc.? We're farming it like anybody else. So there you go.
Well, we're doing something different, aren't we? We're not going to do soybeans again.
I'm not sure that we will do soybeans again. I think that discussion's still happening. Justin's all like team sugar beet over here. I might be considering corn.
Corn.
Oh, you're back to corn. You want
all
corn?
Corn.
Okay.
I want to turn our corn into whiskey.
Yes, you do.
We would not convert every bushel to whiskey. We don't need a tanker of whiskey. We just need like.
Speak for yourself.
Never mind.
You're overridden 2-1. Sorry.
Just because you don't have a problem doesn't mean other people don't.
I don't want to have to learn how to drink whiskey at this age, you guys.
Holy man.
I've only got so many things I can accomplish in my lifetime.
Man.
Whiskey wasn't one of them.
How about we take a quick look at the forecast?
Please.
We do have some light snow showing up on radar from about Carrington up through Devil's Lake. Another area developing now stretching from about just north of Fergus through the Wahpeton area. We're getting reports now on 94 south of Alexandria. You're going down towards St. Cloud and just past St. Cloud towards the Twin Cities of snow-covered roads down there. So, again, seeing a little bit of light snow shower activity pushing in from the south. This isn't going to really amount to much trace amounts, but don't be surprised if you see that for the rest of the afternoon. Currently, temperatures in the single digits in the Northern Valley, teens from the FM area southward, even a few low 20s as you head down towards Lakes Country. And we're looking at highs pretty much where they're at right now for the rest of the afternoon. And again, a few snow showers favoring the far southern valley and areas around Alexandria and points southward. Could pick up an inch or so of snow out of that, but that would be tops. And then we're looking at those snow showers ending tonight with single-digit lows and light winds out of the northwest. A little bit more sunshine tomorrow, with highs in the upper teens to near 20. Warmest day of the week on Wednesday. Clipper system comes our way, giving a little more widespread light snow. And keyword is light, about an inch, some spots a touch more than that. And then we'll turn colder on Thursday and Friday, single digits to around 10 above. And then windy conditions really pump into the area Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with highs over the weekend, either side of 0. Nighttime lows 10 to 15 below, and wind chills over the weekend, 30 to 40 below. So it's going to be cold and windy as we head into the upcoming weekend.
You better have something for your head.
Well, I got a hat.
That's what I mean. A little stocking cap. It's going to be a little brisk out there. I'm going to have to
break it out. I haven't even had to use it yet this year, really. It's been we've been lucky, but as Justin and I were talking, our LRC calendar, which will be put out this week. I know we've had a lot of requests for it, so we'll be having that online. Justin is just finishing that up. And
Justin, do your homework.
I was
one more month. The calendars are made, just one more.
It's funny because Justin and I were talking over the weekend when I was sick, and he said,
he wasn't doing much talking, but I
wasn't doing much talking at all. And Justin was saying, hey, we had mentioned on our LRC special that we were supposed to have a warm up mid-month or shortly after that. The models aren't showing it. Well, now they are today.
They are.
Yeah, we'll see that a little bit of a warm up. This will last maybe 7 to 10 days, and then that third week of the month will start to. Now, when I say warm up, probably back to or a little bit above normal. We're not talking 40s, but at least we'll warm up out of the deep freeze.
I am laughing a little bit in the fact that Justin has sent me the February calendar, and then he asked if I'm traveling any of those days. So is there two? Is there the LRC calendar versus Bridgette's catastrophe calendar? Is that what we're doing now?
Well,
I think we
might have to tie those together
and just circle the days that you're driving, and we'll just overlay them. And I bet you 90% of the days you travel, you are within a day.
Maybe. I can.
Maybe.
Truth right there. Okay.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. We appreciate everyone tuning in, listening, the email comments and questions. We're back tomorrow, 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Coming up next is the Jay Thomas Show. We'll see you guys tomorrow.